Thank you for everyone being here. Oh, I see some familiar faces. But also it's good to meet new friends. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. My name is Connie Chan. I am currently a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. I am on my second term and re-elected. And I also been San Francisco's Budget Committee Chair. This is going to be my fourth year. I know that it's been very difficult time for San Francisco, and from the time of COVID recovery to last year, Trump administration cut to our healthcare system. We've been doing a lot of those work in San Francisco, and just like what Dennis has mentioned, that even during that tough time, we make sure that public safety is a priority, that under our watch as committee chair, the fact is that, we make sure that we balance that budget, be it with Mayor Lyndon Bree to Mayor Daniel Lurie. It is tough, and it was tough, and it's gonna continue to be tough, and yet we make sure that this police department understand that they were understaffed, and they've been understaffed. We make sure that the budget was starting with $650 million to $800 million. That is a significant increase as your budget committee chair. But we balance it. We still make sure that our low-income communities, our most vulnerables, have the services that we need. How do we do it? We do it by building a coalition. We did it by making sure that we built a big tent. It may be Mayor Lyndon Bree, it may be Mayor Daniel Lurie, it may be what Dennis has mentioned, a progressive board of supervisors or a moderate board of supervisors. What we do know is that we need to deliver in the best interest for San Franciscans, and those are the things that we have done. And I'm very proud of it. And you will be saying, well, Connie, how did you learn to do that? Well, I learned that. I want to say I learned it from the community that I grew up in. I was born in Hong Kong. I went to grade school in Taiwan, and I came to San Francisco's Chinatown when I was 13 years old with my single mom and a younger brother. My younger brother, who's I never really talked about, but I feel like I'm a Hmong family. I can talk about my younger brother, who was very different from me. In fact, because I also think that it's very impressive room. There's engineers, there's professors, very well accomplished people. And I would say compared to my brother, he is the more accomplished one. I'm sure you know, he has been a semiconductor engineer for Intel. Actually, he started with IBM and then Intel and now AMD. And so he lives in Austin, Texas, which I don't visit often. I make him come and visit me because it's too hot in Austin, Texas. And I'm very grateful for all the experience I have, growing up in San Francisco with my family. But it is true, we're immigrant. That my family didn't speak a word of English. My mom was a single mom, and she raised us. And I really believe, probably my brother would say she raised him better than raised me. But it is true. My brother is doing well, and I'm really grateful to be a public servant in San Francisco and doing the work that I do. But when Speaker Emeritus Nancy Pelosi decided that she will not run for re-election, it was a moment. It was a moment that I think I have a conversation with room and say, what should we do at this moment? I think many of you know her well, and on a personal level, but on the level that because of the work that you do, you have done work with her and say, well, where do we go now? Where do we go in the face of Trump and the things that he's doing? We wouldn't have jumped into this race if we didn't get the nod from Speaker Emeritus Nancy Pelosi, and of course also the nod from Dennis, and many of the community members to say that we need to build a working people's agenda. We need to make sure that the immigrants who has built the city, who has built California, and in fact this entire nation, should actually have a say and should have the right to the agenda that is being pushed in Washington, D.C. We're very grateful that Congresswoman Judy Chu was one of the very first that have jumped on and endorsed us. She was at a banquet in Chinatown last night. This is what she said. She said, she is, the first Asian American woman elected from Southern California. In fact, she was the first Asian American elected in Congress. And she was very proud. We all should be very proud of her. And yet she said, but I cannot believe in all 175 years of history of San Francisco, and the fact that for the Chinese American community that has fought in San Francisco for the birthright citizenship because of the Wong King Ark case, for 125 years, there was never a Chinese American representative from San Francisco, where today there's still more than 30% of the population are Asian American, and out of that, majority is Chinese American. Isn't it time that we have a voice in Congress from San Francisco? And many really was touched, but I can tell you it's not just because representation matter. I want to say that this is a moment, many of you I think know this deeply, and I said this last night, and I think that many people in that room, just like many people in this room, understand what I'm saying when I say that this is an unprecedented moment for many of us who may be first generation or fourth generation Chinese American, that we know we have friends, we have families in China, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, but we know that Chinese have friends and family, not just in Asia, but actually all over the world. We know Chinese are everywhere, and we are worried that with the way things are going, with the way that Trump administration is starting war endlessly, it threatens our families, it threatens our friends and their safety. We need to have a representation in Washington, D.C. We'll always prioritize peace. We'll understand that tariffs is economic tools, cannot be a threat to other nations. It is important to understand that we need to support small business, because those are the things that really help immigrants build up the local economies. We understand what it means that when we have a robust and stable local economies, and with public safety, investments in our education, those actually makes United States in the hands of immigrants better competitor everywhere. If we want to compete with China, with Russia, with Venezuela and Iran and Korea, anywhere as immigrants and in United States, we know what it means. It means investing in healthcare, investing in education, investing in our community is what makes us better competitor. And so I hope to have your support, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I know sometimes in this space we don't ask questions like publicly like this, but I'm happy to answer that. I'm also happy to answer question one-on-one. But I really am grateful, and I do understand this is a historic moment. It is a historic moment, and that you should know it's a historic moment for all of us together, and that if and when we're in Congress, it's not Connie Chan in Congress. It is us collectively as a community in Congress together. So thank you. And I think that it's important that you should know why, and that I think that everyone in this room want to know the data. And I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to give you also then the ending why we will. First and foremost, that I appreciate Dennis sort of said it out loud for me. We are being labeled, but we're also, we are actually the progressive candidate, and we are the liberal candidate, and that we have done a lot of work with our progressive base, and which is roughly about 30% of the voters population in San Francisco. And we also haven't done a lot of work, and because also like Dennis said, label doesn't matter, and that we actually have also done work on the west side, and consistently building a West Side coalition. And San Francisco is the West Side, and they tend to be what Dennis would label them as, or some people would label them as moderate voters. And because of the work that we have done, and that they say, well, Connie is able to actually listen and understand issues like around upzoning or Gray Highway. She actually could understand what those key issues are important to the West Side voters, and that's roughly about 30% of the city. Now, within the district entire, it's about 25%. It does not include this valley, it does not include Excelsior. 25% is Asian and AAPI. in San Francisco. If you do the math, which I know you all know how to do, then if we get anywhere between 40% to 60% of all these three groups, that is our path to victory. We know we have that. So, but last but not least, here's the endorsements that we have received that also tells you that you're not the only investors in this campaign. You are not alone as investors. We now have the endorsement from California Federation of Labor. We have endorsement from San Francisco Labor Council, trades, as well as Teamsters, and teachers and firefighters and nurses. And that's not just San Francisco level, but at the California level and now national level. We know that they're coming in as supporter and strong supporter within the labor movement. We are the sole candidate that they endorsed, by the way. There's not dual. The only dual was SEIU, but rest of them were the sole candidate and sole campaign they have endorsed. So you know we now have the labor movement, and we've been part of the labor movement. Now you're gonna say, what about Congress? We are the only candidate endorsed by Senator Adam Schiff. He came in, as well as along with Congresswoman Judy Chu. It's all women, by the way, I have to say. Congresswoman Judy Chu, Marilyn Strickland, but we just got endorsed also by the Congressional Elect Democratic Women Caucus. That's inclusive of, the chair is Lois Franco, Congresswoman Lois Franco. She picked up the phone and we hop on the Zoom. And so first thing she said, I guess you are the woman from San Francisco that Speaker Madam Nancy Pelosi wants you to succeed her. I said, indeed. And so I also want you to know that we are the only candidate, in short of her formal endorsement, we are the only candidate in the position to earn her endorsement. I have no doubt about that. You can talk to Congresswoman Judy Chu, you can talk to Senator Adam Schiff, you can talk to many other congresswomen among the entire, the Democratic congresswomen in the House, that you will know that we are in that position to earn her endorsement. It's the reason why, I know Dennis is like, well, then why hasn't she formally endorsed yet?
No. I expect her